In a quiet mountain village, nestled among misty peaks, lived three beautiful sisters, Alina, Mira, and Suri. Their home was a tiny weathered cottage, but their hearts were vast and pure. Their smiles were as gentle as the morning sun, and their dreams were simple: to live in peace and protect the last memory of their beloved late mother, a tiny, intricately carved golden locket. But their peaceful world was shattered the day their father remarried. Their new stepmother, Lady Varena, swept into their lives like a winter storm. She arrived draped in shimmering jewels, her every gesture dripping with greed. From the moment she set foot in the cottage, her eyes were cold, her words were sharp, and her heart was obsessed with wealth. Lady Varena despised the sisters. She hated their natural beauty, which outshone all her expensive gems. She loathed their kindness, a quality she could neither understand nor possess. Most of all, she coveted the one thing they cherished: the golden locket. She was convinced it was no ordinary trinket. She believed it held the key to immense fortune and power, and she was determined to make it hers. Her reign of cruelty began immediately. The grandest chair in the cottage became her throne, where she would sit for hours, counting her gold coins and polishing her vast collection of jewelry. Meanwhile, she turned the sisters into her personal servants. Their days became a blur of endless, back-breaking chores. From dawn until dusk, they were forced to scrub floors, cook meals, wash mountains of laundry, and venture into the forest to collect firewood, their hands growing rough and their bodies weary. Yet, through all the hardship, the sisters never lost their gentle spirits. They found strength in each other. Alina, the eldest, would tell stories to lift their spirits. Mira, the middle sister, would hum soft melodies their mother used to sing, and little Suri, the youngest, would find wildflowers to brighten their small room. Their love for one another was a shield against the stepmother's bitterness. One moonless night, as Varena was rummaging through the girl's few belongings, her greedy fingers finally closed around the golden locket. But as she held it, she discovered something that made her heart race with excitement. It wasn't just a piece of jewelry. A faint ethereal glow emanated from it, and she felt a pulse of ancient energy. She realized the locket held a powerful magic, a secret blessed by their late mother, a secret that could reveal hidden treasures and grant unimaginable wealth. Now, her greed transformed into a dangerous obsession. She was no longer content with just mistreating the sisters. She began plotting to steal the locket and unlock its power for herself. She spied on them, listened at their door, and tried to trick them into revealing its secrets. The air in the cottage grew thick with suspense and deceit, but the sisters, though poor and seemingly powerless, were far from foolish. They were brave, and their bond was their greatest strength. They noticed the change in their stepmother's behavior, the hungry look in her eyes whenever she glanced at the locket, the sly questions she would ask. Piecing together her whispers and schemes, they uncovered her wicked plan. Knowing they couldn't stay a moment longer, they made a pact. That very night, under the silvery light of the full moon, they decided to escape. With the golden locket tucked safely away, they fled the cottage and ran into the deep, dark forest. They were terrified, but they were together, determined to protect their mother's legacy and each other. The forest was a labyrinth of shadows and strange sounds, but it welcomed them. Deep within the woods, drawn by a gentle humming light, they stumbled upon a clearing. In its center stood an ancient, colossal tree, its branches reaching for the stars and its bark swirling with mossy patterns that looked like ancient runes. As they approached, the tree began to glow, and a wise, gentle face formed in its trunk. It was the ancient tree spirit, the guardian of the forest. The spirit spoke to them, its voice like the rustling of 1,000 leaves. It revealed the truth about their mother's gift. The locket, it explained, is a vessel of pure magic. But its power can only be unlocked by hearts that are selfless and filled with love. For the greedy, it is nothing more than metal. For the kind, it is a source of miracles. Guided by the spirit, the sisters learned to harness the locket's magic. They discovered it wasn't a key to treasure chests filled with gold, but to a far greater wealth. With its power, they could heal the sick, make barren fields fertile, and protect the innocent. The magic flowed from their kindness, amplifying the goodness that was already within them. They used it to help woodland creatures, to mend broken branches, and to bring light to the darkest corners of the forest. They were no longer just 3 frightened girls. They were becoming heroes. But Lady Varena would not be denied. Mad with rage and greed, she tracked them into the forest. She used dark tricks and cunning traps to try and capture them and seize the locket. But the magic, which was an extension of the sisters' pure hearts, rejected her. Every scheme she devised backfired spectacularly. When she tried to create a magical snare, it wrapped around her instead. When she summoned a swarm of angry wasps, they turned and chased her. The forest itself seemed to conspire against her wickedness, its roots tripping her, its branches blocking her path. In a final, desperate confrontation, Varena lunged for the locket, but as her greedy hands touched it, the magic recoiled violently. A blinding light erupted, not of warmth and healing, but of raw, untamed power that reflected her own dark heart back at her. The magic stripped away her jewels, her fine clothes, and her false beauty, leaving her exposed for what she truly was, a lonely, bitter woman consumed by her own avarice. Defeated and humbled, Varena fled the forest, her schemes in ruins. The sisters, now stronger and wiser, returned to their village. But they didn't return to the tiny old cottage. The villagers, having heard of their bravery and witnessed their acts of kindness, welcomed them as heroes. They helped them rebuild their lives. And the sisters used the locket's magic to bring prosperity and healing to their entire community. Their story became a legend, a timeless tale of kindness versus greed, purity versus manipulation. It was a story that proved true strength isn't found in wealth or power, but in the unwavering love between sisters who faced the darkness and emerged as beacons of light. They showed everyone that the greatest treasure in the world isn't gold, but a heart that is pure. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales of magic and courage. See you next time.